We saw in a past class that faith is based, in a sense, on the so-called reasons for credibility, which are like the porches or entrances that, showing us the reasonableness of believing and proving us the historical facts of the revelation, motivate our intelligence, enlightened by grace, to know the truths that God has revealed to us. However, these reasons for credibility, as we have also warned, only prepare us for the faith, since they are not, in themselves, capable of raising it in us. In fact, faith is a gift of a supernatural order that only the intervention of the grace of Christ, alive and risen, can ignite in our souls. This intervention is often silent and progressive. As we are opening ourselves to faith, the Lord is granting us, at the same time, the lights to recognize Him, like those of Emmaus disciples who, after feeling their hearts burn while listening to the risen Jesus, finally they recognized Him in the blessing of bread. Then, says the evangelist S. Lucas, their eyes were open and they recognized Him. Luke 24:31. But things don't stop there. The Catholic faith, in addition to being a personal reality, is also, and essentially, an ecclesial reality. Here, it is necessary to remember a point already seen in past classes. When Jesus came to this world, He founded a single church, with whom He forms a single mystical person and through which He perpetuates, throughout history, His work of redemption and sanctification. Now, just as there is only one Christ, so there is only one Church, and it is to the faith of this Church that we must adhere if we are to be sure that what we believe is truly what the Son of God incarnated to His people said and taught. Apostles and disciples. For this reason, believing in what the true Church of Christ believes and teaches is the guarantee that we belong to this common house, to this unity of Pentecost in which many, although coming from different peoples, speak one language. The language of faith. It was Jesus Himself who assured him, just before He ascended to heaven, "Go, therefore, and teach all nations. Baptize them in the name of the Father, the Son and the Holy Spirit. Teach them to observe everything that I have prescribed for you. Behold, I am with you every day, until the end of the world." Mt 28:19. There is, therefore, a perfect continuity in the Church A, with the doctrine of Christ. Go, therefore, and teach. B, with the sacramental discipline that He instituted. Baptize them. And C, with a moral teaching that should guide the Christian's life. Teach them to observe everything that I have prescribed for you. This guarantee, in turn, spans the centuries and reaches each new generation of the faithful through sacred tradition and apostolic succession, by virtue of which the deposit of faith is preserved and transmitted and the authority conferred on the apostles remains alive in the Church. Continuer of Christ and transmitter of His immutable truth, cf. 1 Tim 3:14. The Church keeps the sacred deposit through her Magisterium, which constitutes a fundamental and indispensable element, not only of its institutional structure, but also, and above all, of its own mission to safeguard, with absolute security, the purity of Christian doctrine. This is why the false dichotomies that arose at different times, ancient and modern, between the Church of the Spirit on the one hand and the Church of the Bishops on the other must be rejected, between the Church of charisms, spontaneous and pulsating, and a Church of power, cold and ritualistic. Ecclesiastical authority, authentic and infallible, was wanted by Christ Himself as a means of perpetuating tradition and the teaching of His apostles, a tradition of which St. Paul, writing to the faithful of Corinth in the year 52 D.C., that is, before the appearance of the other books of the New Testament, it is a reliable witness. I transmitted to you first what I myself had received. 1 Cor 15:3. To remain, therefore, in that word received and transmitted over the centuries by the apostles and his successors is to remain, faithfully, united to the vine planted by Christ and to the true faith, contained both in sacred tradition and in the SS. Scriptures and guarded with all fidelity by the living magisterium of the Catholic Church.